Hello, my dearest fishies, and welcome to another story time. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me so early in the live stream. I appreciate all of the early fishies. Congratulations to Pro Self Love on redeeming first in Twitch chat. Hello Pro Self Love, hello Chris, hello Gina, hello Han, hello ASMR Mans, hello Pro Self Love, hello Billingham, hello Kea, hello Chris, hello Neo Metal Sonic, hello Yashin the Goat, hello Mystics, hello Useless Ink, hello BS, welcome Baifu, hello, how are you? Thank you all so much for joining me today. And don't forget !puzzle. We'll give you the link to the puzzle. We will, for some reason, Twitch continues to break shit. And oh, never mind. I'm able to pin that in the stream. All right, but we are We are posting the link to the Vitamin V VTuber Awards. I would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment and vote for me for Best Comfy VTuber. Thank you for the Hydrate Dova. I will execute on that. If you are not in the Discord server, I highly recommend you join us in the Discord server. The link is going to be in the Beacons link. If you are on TikTok, that link is available in my profile. In the Discord server, we did hang out earlier today. I'm going to sleep. Relaton, good night. Have a wonderful sleep with fantastic dreams. No problem, Neo Metal Sonic. I appreciate you. You gotta get done what you gotta get done. I hope that we get to catch you again next time. But if you are not in the Discord server, I highly recommend joining the Discord server. Earlier today, we did a hangout where I pinged everyone who wants the hangout role and let them know that I was just chilling out in the VC if anyone wanted to join. And we had some great conversations, some good laughs, some good times. I sang a little bit. But one of the things that we talked about there is how much I had to do before stream, so I apologize for being late to stream. I had a long list of things that I meant to get done today, and alas, I was unable to get to a couple of those things, but I was able to take care of the laundry, the dishes, take the trash out, empty the fridge. I refilled my water. I refilled my tea. I unfortunately did not get around to taking a shower, and I unfortunately did not get around to eating dinner. So...
Are you sure about that?
Unfortunately, yes, I am sure about that, John Cena. Do ASMR? You know what? You're right. I should throw out the plan for everything I had today, and I should just stop talking and do ASMR. John, welcome. And thank you so much for joining us. If you have been here in the past couple of weeks, you're going to notice that something looks a little different. Hi. We're going back, we're throwing it back to the OG style that I used to have on stream, where when I first debuted as a VTuber, I had this very elaborate setup where if you are watching on Twitch, you are able to !cam. And that will, or it should, I'm gonna double check, but that will move my camera left and right. And I also have a different camera view, so if I do this, you guys can see me as I am reading books and you just get a close-up view. Hi, Sophia. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So I'll go back to the room view. If you are watching on TikTok, I will show you here just this preview. You can see off in the corner that there are fishies. So, of course, you're not going to be able to see that when it's just the center view. Highly recommend you join us on Twitch, but no pressure. Twitch is kind of going through hell right now. Do we really expect anything less? Also for today, I'm thinking that we should listen to some of this amazing ocean ambiance. Hi, Jester. Welcome. It's so peak. Thank you. If you guys have never seen this camera view before, it's, like I said, it was original to my debut last year. Albeit it looked a lot more like this and it was pretty dark, but I have the lights on and the lights off as a really cool command that nobody uses most of the time. You are small. No, I'm not. You just want to get punched in the face. I mean, hey, you know, everyone's got their kink or whatever. I'm going to calibrate my hands one more time. And I think we should dive headfirst into reading some more of Sherlock Holmes. Why are you talking about kinks? Because we're talking about, you know, getting punched in the face, and some people like that. It's weird, but we don't judge most of the time. I also want to double check some of my facial movements. You did really good job. Thank you. You're so sweet. Quite the timing to walk into. Hi, Clinker Rage. Hi, Tuito. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Moonlight, nice. So when are we throwing hands with the owl? Are you talking about Duolingo? I like this background music. I say music, it's not music. I like the background sound. Which book are we going to start with? We are going to continue Sherlock Holmes with Chapter 2, or Story 2, as Sherlock Holmes, the book, is separated by story. This angle looking hot, you like it? If someone !cam, it will change the angle so that you'll be able to see the fishies. And if we could get any support, any assistance in TikTok chat for our TikTok viewers, if you could let the other viewers that come in know that we are reading Sherlock Holmes. I am a VTuber. This is not VR chat. And if they want a fish in the background, they have to join us on Twitch. Turn the lights off? Oops. Okay, fine, damn. Who's a good pelito de pescado? Chris. You are a good fish stick. Love your anime girl avatar. Love your color blues. Thank you. I come back to see this perfectness. You think that it's perfect? Really? I actually thought when I first started using this camera angles and all of that. I didn't think that people would like it, but I'm glad that it seems to have stuck. I love seeing older people like you finding time to read. All right. That's very rage baity of you. Oh, you want me to go back to the... Okay. Steph, this is so good. We are so proud of... Thank you! Oh my gosh. You guys are too kind to me. All right. Let's get into reading some Sherlock Holmes. The Red-Headed League. I had called upon my friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, one day in the autumn of last year, and found him in deep conversation with a very stout, florid-faced, elderly gentleman with fiery red hair. With an apology for my intrusion, I was about to withdraw when Holmes pulled me abruptly into the room and closed the door behind me. "You could not possibly have come at a better time, my dear Watson," he said cordially. "I was afraid that you were engaged." "So I am, very much so." "Then I can wait in the next room." "Not at all. This gentleman, Mr. Wilson, has been my partner and helper in many of my most successful cases, and I have no doubt that he will be of the utmost use to me and also yours." The stout gentleman half rose from his chair and gave a bob of greeting, with a quick little questioning glance from his small, fat encircled eyes. "Try the settee," said Holmes, relapsing into his armchair and putting his fingertips together, as was his custom when in judicial moods. "I know, my dear Watson, that you share my love of all that is bizarre and outside the conventions and humdrum routine of everyday life. You've shown your relish for it by the enthusiasm which has prompted you to chronicle and, if you will excuse my saying so, somewhat to embellish so many of my own little adventures. Your cases have indeed been of the greatest interest to me," I observed. "You will remember that I remarked the other day, just before we went into the very simple problem presented by Miss Mary Sutherland, that for strange effects and extraordinary combinations we must go to life itself, which is always far more daring than any effort of the imagination. A proposition which I took the liberty of doubting." "You did, Doctor. But nonetheless, you must come round to my view, for otherwise I shall keep on piling fact upon fact on you until your reason breaks down under them and acknowledge me to be right. Now, Mr. Jabez Wilson here has been good enough to call upon me this morning, and to begin a narrative which promises to be one of the most singular which I have listened to for some time. You have heard me remark that the strangest and most unique cases are often connected not with the larger, but with the smaller crimes. And occasionally, indeed, where there is room for doubt whether any positive crime has been committed. As far as I have heard, it is impossible for me to say whether the present case is an instance of crime or not, but the course of events is certainly among the most singular that I have ever listened to. Perhaps, Mr. Wilson, you would have the great kindness to recommence your narrative. I ask you not merely because my friend, Dr. Watson, has not heard the opening part, but also because the peculiar nature of the story makes me anxious to have every possible detail from your lips. As a rule, when I have heard some slight indication of the course of events, I am able to guide myself by the thousands of other similar cases which occur to my memory. In the present instance, I am forced to admit that the facts are, to the best of my belief, unique." The portly client puffed out his chest with an appearance of some little pride and pulled a dirty and wrinkled newspaper from the inside pocket of his greatcoat. As he glanced down the advertisement column, with his head thrust forward and the paper flattened out upon his knee, I took a good look at the man and endeavored, after the fashion of my companion, to read the indications which might be presented by his dress or appearance. I did not gain very much, however, by my inspection. Our visitor bore every mark of a being an average, commonplace British tradesman, obese, pompous, and slow. He wore rather baggy grey shepherd's check trousers and not over-clean black frock coat, an unbuttoned in the front, and a drab waistcoat with a heavy brassy Albert chain, and a square pierced bit of metal dangling down as an ornament. A frayed top hat and a faded brown overcoat with a wrinkled velvet collar lay upon a chair beside him. Altogether, look as I would, there was nothing remarkable about the man save his blazing red head, and the expression of extreme chagrin and discontent upon his features. Sherlock Holmes' quick eye took in my occupation, and he shook his head with a smile as he noticed my questioning glances. Beyond the obvious facts that he has, at some point, done manual labor, that he takes snuff, that he is a Freemason, that he has been in China, and that he has done a considerable amount of writing lately, I can deduce nothing else. Mr. Jabez Wilson started up in his chair, and his forefinger upon the paper, but his eyes upon my companion. "How, in the name of good fortune, did you know all that, Mr. Holmes?" he asked. "How did you know, for example, that I did manual labor? It's as true as gospel, but for I began as a ship's carpenter." "Your hands, my dear sir. Your right hand is quite a size larger than your left. You have worked with it, and the muscles are more developed." "Well, the snuff, then, and the Freemasonry?" "I won't insult your intelligence by telling you how I read that, especially as, rather against the strict rules of your order, you use an arc and compass breastpin." "Ah, of course, I forgot that. But the writing? What else can be indicated by the right cuff so very shiny for 5 inches, and the left one with smooth patch near the elbow where you rested upon a desk?" "Well, but China. The fish that you have tattooed immediately above your right wrist could only have been done in China. I have made a small study of tattoo marks and have even contributed to the literature of the subject. That trick of staining the fish's scales of a delicate pink is quite peculiar to China. When, in addition, I see a Chinese coin hanging from your watch chain, the matter becomes even more simple." Mr. Jabez Wilson laughed heartily. "Well, I never," said he. "Well, I thought at first you had done something clever, but I see that there is nothing to it after all." "I begin to think, Watson," said Holmes, "that I make a mistake in explaining omne ignotum pro magnifico. You know, and my poor little reputation, such as it is, will suffer shipwreck if I am so candid. Can you not find the advertisement, Mr. Wilson?" "Yes, I have it now," he answered with his thick red finger planted halfway down the column. "Here it is. This is what began it all. You just read it yourself, sir." I took the paper from him and read as follows. "To the Red-Headed League, on account of the bequest of the late Ezekiah Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, USA, there is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £5 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on Monday at 11 o'clock to Duncan Ross at the offices of the League, 7 Pope's Court, Fleet Street." "What on earth does this mean?" I ejaculated after I had twice read over the extraordinary announcement. Holmes chuckled and wriggled in his chair as was his habit when in high spirits. "It is a little off the beaten track, isn't it?" said he. "And now, Mr. Wilson, off you go at scratch and tell us all about yourself, your household, the effects which this advertisement had upon your fortunes. You will first make note, Doctor, of the paper and the date. It is the Morning Chronicle of April 27, 1890, just 2 months ago. Very good. Now, Mr. Wilson. Well, it is just as I have been telling you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, said Jabez Wilson, mopping his forehead. I have a small pawnbroker's business in Coburg Square, near the city. It is not a large, very large affair, and of late years it has not done more than just giving me a living. I used to be able to keep 2 assistants, but now I keep only 1, and I would have a job to pay him, but that he is willing to come for half wages so as to learn the business. What is the name of this obliging youth? Asked Sherlock Holmes. His name is Vincent Spaulding, and he's not such a youth either. It's hard to say his age. I should not wish a smarter assistant, Mr. Holmes, and I know very little that he could better himself and earn twice what I am able to give him. But after all, if he is satisfied, why should I put ideas in his head? Why indeed? You seem most fortunate in having an employee who comes under the full market price. It is not a common experience among employers in this age. I don't know that your assistance is not as remarkable as your advertisement. Oh, but he has his faults too, said Mr. Wilson. Never has such a fellow for photography, snapping away with a camera when he ought to be improving his mind, and then diving down into the cellar like a rabbit into its hole and develop his pictures. That is his main fault, but on the whole, he's a good worker. There is no vice in him. He is still with you, I presume? Yes, sir. He and a girl of 14 who does a bit of simple cooking and keeps the place clean. That's all I have in the house, for I am a widower and never had any family. We live very far, sir, the 3 of us. And we keep a roof over our heads and pay our debts if we do nothing more. The first thing that puts us out was that advertisement. Spaulding. He came down into the office just this 8 weeks, with this very paper in his hands, and he said, I wish to the Lord, Mr. Wilson, that I was a red-headed man. Why is that? I asks. Why, says he, here's another vacancy on the League of the Red-Headed Men. It's worth quite a little fortune to any man who gets it, and I understand that there are more vacancies than there are men, so that the trustees are at their wits' end what to do with the money. If my hair would only change color. Here's a nice little crib all ready for me to step into. Why, what is it then? I asked. You see, Mr. Holmes, I am a very stay-at-home man, and as my business came to me instead of having to go to it, I was often weeks on end without putting my foot out the doormat. In that way, I didn't know much of what was going on outside, and I was always glad of a bit of news. Have you ever heard of the League of Red-Headed Men? He asked, with his eyes open. Never. Why, I wonder that, for you are eligible yourself for one of these vacancies. And what are they worth? I asked. Oh, merely a couple hundred a year, but the work is slight, and it need not interfere very much with one's other occupations. Well, you can easily think that made me prick up my ears, for the business was not been much over good for some years, and an extra couple hundred would have been very handy. Tell me about it, I said. Well, said he, showing me the advertisement. You can see for yourself that the League has had a vacancy, and there is the address where you should apply for particulars. As far as I can make out, the League is founded by an American millionaire, Ezekiel Hopkins, who was very peculiar in his ways. He was himself red-headed, and he had a great sympathy for all red-headed men, so when he died, it was found that he had left his enormous fortune in the hands of trustees, with instructions to apply the interest to providing of easy berths to men whose hair is of that color. From all I hear, it is splendid pay and very little to do. But, said I, there would be millions of red-headed men who apply. Not so many as you think, he answered. You see, it is really confided to Londoners and to grown men. This American had started from London when he was young, and he wanted to do the old town a good turn. Then again, I have heard it is no use your applying if your hair is light red or dark red or anything but real bright, blazing, fiery red. Now, if you cared to apply, Mr. Wilson, you would just walk in. But perhaps it would hardly be worth your while to put yourself out the way for the sake of a few £100. Now, it is a fact, gentlemen, as you may see for yourselves, that my hair is of a very full and rich tint, so that it seemed to me that if there was to be any competition in the matter, I stood as good a chance as any man that I had ever met. Vincent Spaulding seemed to know so much about it that I thought he might prove useful, so I just ordered him to put up the shutters for the day and to come right away with me. He was very willing to have a holiday, so we shut the business up, started off for the address that was given to us in the advertisement. I never hope to see such a sight as that again, Mr. Holmes. From north, south, east, and west, every man who had a shade of red in his hair had tramped into the city to answer the advertisement. Fleet Street was choked with red-headed folk, and Pope's Court looked like a coaster's orange barrow. I should not have thought there so many in the whole country as were brought together by that single advertisement. Every shade of color they were, straw, lemon, orange, brick, Irish setter, liver, clay, but, as Spaulding said, there were not many who had the real vivid flame-colored tint. When I say how many were waiting, I would have given it up in despair, but Spaulding would not hear of it. How he did it I could not imagine, but he pushed and pulled and butted until he got me through the crowd and right up to the stairs which led to the office. There was a double stream upon the stair, some going up in hope and some coming back dejected, but we wedged in as well as we could and soon found ourselves in the office. Your experience has been... Oh, thank God that guy's done talking.
Hello, Brazil. Hi, Riley. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Also, oh my goodness gracious, thank you so much for all of the TikTok gifts. Hello to all of our TikTok chatters. I apologize. I'm in the midst of reading and I cannot say hello, but hello. I hope you are enjoying the stream.
Oh, I just needed to take a deep breath. All right. We get back to it. You speak Spanish, Steph? Not very well. Not very well. You're right, Han. I should drink my water. Oh, delicious. Your experience has been most entertaining one, remarked Holmes as his client paused and refreshed his memory with a huge pinch of snuff. Pray continue your very interesting statement. There was nothing in the office but a couple of wooden chairs and a deal table behind which sat a small man with a head that was even redder than mine. He said a few words to each candidate as he came up, and then he always managed to find some fault in them which did disqualify them. Getting a vacancy did not seem to be very such easy thing, after all. However, when our turn came, the little man was much more favorable to me than any of the others, and he closed the door as we entered so that he might have a private word with us. This is Mr. Jabez Wilson, said my assistant, and he is willing to fill a vacancy in the league. And he is admirably suited for it, the other answered. He has every requirement. I cannot recall when I have seen anything so fine. He took a step backward, cocked his head onto one side, and gazed at my hair until I felt quite bashful.
Then suddenly he plunged forward, wrung my hand, congratulated me warmly on my success. "It would be injustice to hesitate," said he. "You will, however, I am sure, excuse me for taking an obvious precaution." With that he seized my hair in both his hands, tugged until I yelled with the pain. "There is water in your eyes," said he as he released me. "I perceive that all is as it should be, but we have to be careful, for we have twice been deceived by wigs and once by paint. I could tell you tales of cobbler's wax which would disgust you with human nature." He stepped over to the window and shouted through it at the top of his lungs that the vacancy was filled. A groan of disappointment came up from below, and the folk all trooped away in different directions until there was not a red head to be seen except my own and that of the manager. "My name," said he, "is Mr. Duncan Ross, and I am myself one of the pensioners upon the fund left by our noble benefactor." "Are you a married man, Mr. Wilson? Have you a family?" I answered that I had not. His face fell immediately. "Dear me," he said gravely. "That is very serious indeed. I am sorry to hear that. The fund was, of course, for the propagation and spread of the redheads as well as for their maintenance. It is exceedingly unfortunate that you should be a bachelor." My face lengthened at this, Mr. Holmes, for I thought that I was not to have the vacancy after all, but after thinking it over a few minutes, he said that it would be all right. "In the case of another," said he, "the objection might be fatal, but we must stretch a point in favor of a man who had such a head of hair as yours. When shall you be able to enter upon your new duties?" "Well, it is a little awkward, for I have a business already," said I. "Oh, never mind that, Mr. Wilson," said Vincent Spaulding. "I should be able to look after that for you." "What about the hours?" I asked. 10 to 2. Now, a pawnbroker's business is mostly done of the evening, Mr. Holmes, especially Thursday and Friday evening, which is just before payday, so it would suit me very well to earn a little in the mornings. Besides, I knew that my assistant was a good man, and that he would see to anything that turned up. "That would suit me very well," said I. "And the pay? It's £4 a week. And the work? Pretty nominal." "What do you call purely nominal?" "Well, you have to be in the office, or at least in the building, the whole time. If you leave, you forfeit your whole position forever. The will is very clear upon that point. You don't comply with the conditions if you budge from the office during that time." "It's only 4 hours a day. I should not think of leaving," said I. "No excuse will avail," said Mr. Duncan Ross. "Neither sickness nor business nor anything else. You must stay, or you lose your billet. And the work is to copy out the Encyclopedia Britannica. There is the first volume of it in that press. You must find your own ink, pens, and blotting paper. But we provide this table and chair. Will you be ready tomorrow?" "Certainly," I answered. "Then goodbye, Mr. Jabez Wilson, and let me congratulate you once more on the important position which you have been fortunate enough to gain." He bowed me out of the room, and I went home with my assistant, hardly knowing what to say or do. I was so pleased at my good fortune. Well, I thought over the matter all day, and by evening I was in those spirits again, for I had quite persuaded myself that the whole affair must be some great hoax or fraud, though what its object might be I could not imagine. It seemed altogether past belief that anyone could make such a will, or that they would pay such a sum for doing anything so simple as copying out the Encyclopedia Britannica. Vincent Spaulding did what he could to cheer me up, but by bedtime I had reasoned myself out of the whole thing. However, in the morning I am determined to have a look at it anyhow, so I bought a penny bottle of ink, and with a quill pen and 7 sheets of foolscap paper, I started off for the Pope's Court. Well, to my surprise and delight, everything was right as possible. The table was set out for me, and Mr. Duncan Ross was there to see that I got fairly to work. He started me off upon letter A, and then he left me. But he would drop in from time to time to see that all was right with me. At 2 o'clock he bade me good day, complimented me upon the amount that I had written, and locked the door of the office after me. This went on day after day, Mr. Holmes, and on Saturday the manager came in, planked down 4 golden sovereigns for my week's worth, and that was the same next week and the same the week after. Every morning I was there at 10, and every afternoon I left at 2. By degrees, Mr. Duncan Ross took to coming in only once of a morning, and then after a time he did not come in at all. Still, of course, I never dared to leave the room for the instant, for I was not sure when he might come, and the ballet was such a good one and suited me so well that I would not risk the loss of it. 8 weeks passed away like this, and I had written about abbots and archery and armor and architecture and Attica, and hoped with diligence that I might get on to the bees before long. It cost me something in foolscap, and I had pretty nearly filled the shelf with my own writings, and then suddenly the whole business came to an end. To an end. Yes, sir. And no later than this morning I went to my work as usual at 10 o'clock. The door was shut and locked, with a little square of cardboard hammered to the middle of the panel with a tack. Here it is, and you can read it for yourself. He held up a piece of white cardboard about the size of a sheet of notepaper. It read in this fashion: "The Red-Headed League is dissolved. October 9, 1890. Sherlock Holmes and I surveyed this curt announcement and the rueful face behind it, until the comical side of the affair so completely overtopped every other consideration that we both burst out into a roar of laughter. "I cannot see that there is anything very funny," cried our client, flushing up to the roots of his flaming head. "If you could do anything better than laugh at me, I can go elsewhere." "No, no," cried Holmes, shoving him back into the chair from which he had risen. "I really wouldn't miss your case for the world. It is most refreshingly unusual, but there it is. If you will excuse me saying so, something just a little funny about it. Pray, what steps did you take when you found the card upon the door?" "I was staggered, sir. I did not know what to do, and then I called the officers round, but none of them seemed to know anything about it. Finally, I went to the landlord, who is an accountant living on the ground floor. I asked him if he could tell me what had become of the Red-Headed League. He said that he had never heard of any such body. Then I asked him who Mr. Duncan Ross was. He answered the name was new to him. "Well," said I, "the gentleman at number 4. What, the red-headed man?" "Yes." "Oh," said he, "his name is William Morris. He was a solicitor and was using my room as temporary convenience until his new premises were ready. He moved out yesterday. Where could I find him?" "Oh, at his new offices. He did tell me an address. Yes, 17 King Edward Street near St. Paul's." I started off, Mr. Holmes, but when I got to that address, it was a manufactory of artificial kneecaps, and no one in it had ever heard of a Mr. William Morris or Mr. Duncan Ross. "And what did you do then?" asked Holmes. "Well, I went home to Saxe-Coburg Square." I need to drink water. "Can I be named one of your goldfishies?" Schwitzer, you absolutely can. If you'd like a fishy, you can send a message in chat on Twitch. If you'd like 2 fishies, you can even send a message in YouTube chat. The only downside to reading Sherlock Holmes is the lack of breathing. By golly. It doesn't seem like anyone started on the puzzle. Just remember, exclamation point, puzzle. So you can get a puzzle. So hungry? Me too, Hodakin. But at least you can get like a cheeseburger. I can't. I can't get a cheeseburger. I went home to Saxe-Coburg Square, and I took the advice of my assistant. But he could not help me in any way. He could only say that if I waited I should hear by post. But that was not quite good enough, Mr. Holmes. I did not wish to lose such a place without a struggle, so as I had heard that you were good enough to give advice to poor folk who were in need of it, I came right away to you." "And you did very wisely," said Holmes. "Your case is an exceedingly remarkable one, and I shall be happy to look into it. From what you have told me, I think that it is possible that graver issues hang from it than might at first sight appear." "Grave enough," said Mr. Jabez Wilson. "Why, I've lost £4 a week." "As far as you are personally concerned," remarked Holmes, "I do not see that you have any grievance against this extraordinary league. On the contrary, you are, as I understand, richer by some £30, to say nothing of the minute minute knowledge which you have gained on every subject which comes with the letter A. You have lost nothing by them." "No, sir, but I want to find out about them and who they are and what their object is in playing this prank, if it is a prank, upon me. It was a pretty expensive joke for them, for it cost them £32. We shall endeavor to clear up these points for you, and first, 1 or 2 questions, Mr. Wilson. This assistant of yours who first called your attention to the advertisement, how long had he been with you?" "About a month, then." "How did he come?" "In answer to an advertisement." "Was he the only applicant?" "No, I had a dozen." "Why did you pick him?" "Because he was handy and would come cheap." "At half wages, in fact?" "Yes." "What is he like, this Vincent Spaulding?" "Small, stout build, very quick in his ways, no hair on his face, though he's not short of 30. Has a white splash of acid upon his forehead." Holmes sat up in his chair in considerable excitement. "I thought as much," said he. "Have you ever observed that his ears are pierced for earrings?" "Yes, sir. He told me that a gypsy had done it for him when he was a kid." "Huh!" said Holmes, sinking back in deep thought. "Is he still with you?" "Oh, yes, sir. I have only just left him." "And has your business been attended to in your absence?" "Nothing to complain of, sir. There's never very much to do of a morning." "That will do, Mr. Wilson. I shall be happy to give you an opinion upon the subject in the course of a day or two. Today is Saturday, and I hope that by Monday we could come to a conclusion." "Well, Watson," said Holmes when our visitor had left us, "what do you make of it all?" "I make nothing of it," I answered frankly. "It is a most mysterious business." "As a rule," said Holmes, "the more bizarre a thing is, less mysterious as it proves to be. It is your commonplace, featureless crimes which are really puzzling, just as a commonplace face is the most difficult to identify. But I must be prompt over this matter." "What are you going to do, then?" I asked. "To smoke," he answered. "It is quite a 3-pipe problem, and I beg that you won't speak to me for 50 minutes. He curled himself up in his chair, with his thin knees drawn to his hawk-like nose, and there he sat with his eyes closed and his black clay pipe thrusting out like the bill of some strange bird. I had come to the conclusion that he had dropped asleep, and indeed was nodding myself, when he suddenly sprang out of his chair with the gesture of a man who has made up his mind and put his pipe down upon the mantelpiece. "Sarasate plays at the St. James Hall this afternoon," he remarked. "What do you think, Watson? Could your patience spare you for a few hours?" "I have nothing to do today. My practice is never very absorbing." "Then put on your hat and come. I am going through the city first, and we have some lunch on the way. I observe that there is a good deal of German music on the program, which is rather more to my taste than Italian or French. It is introspective, and I want to introspect. Come along." We traveled by underground as far as Aldersgate, and a short walk took us to Saxe-Coburg Square, the scene of the singular story which we had listened to in the morning. It was a poky little shabby genteel place, where 4 lines of dingy 2-storied brick houses looked out in a small railed-in enclosure, where a lawn of weedy grass
and a few lumps of faded laurel bushes made a hard fight against the smoke-laden and uncongenial atmosphere. 3 gilt balls and a brown board with Jabez Wilson in white letters upon a corner house announced the place where our red-headed client carried on his business. Sherlock Holmes stopped in front of it with his head on one side and looked it all over, with his eyes shining brightly between puckered lips. Then he walked slowly up the street and then down again to the corner, looking still keenly at the houses. Finally, he returned to the pawnbroker's and, having thumped vigorously upon the pavement with his stick 2 or 3 times, he went up to the door and knocked. It was instantly opened by a bright-looking, clean-shaven young fellow who asked him to step in. "Thank you," said Holmes. "I only wish to ask you how you would go from here to the Strand." "3rd right, 4th left," answered the assistant promptly, closing the door. "Smart fellow, that," observed Holmes as he walked away. "He is, in my judgment, the 4th smartest man in London, for I am daring not sure that he is not a claim to be the 3rd. I have known something of him before." "Evidently," said I, "Mr. Wilson's assistant counts for a good deal this mystery of the Red-Headed League. I am sure that you inquired your way merely in order that you might see him, not him." "What then?" "The knees of his trousers." "And what did you see?" "What I expected to see." "Why did you beat the pavement?" "My dear doctor, this is a time for observation, not talk. We are spies in the enemy's country. We know something of Saxe-Coburg Square. Let us now explore the parts which lie behind it." The road in which we found ourselves was turned round the corner from the retired Saxe-Coburg Square, presented as a great contrast to it as the front of the picture does to the back. It was one of the main arteries which conveyed the traffic of the city to the north and west. The roadway was blocked with an immense stream of commerce flowing in a double tide inward and outward, while the footpaths were black with the hurrying swarm of pedestrians. It was difficult to realize as we looked the line of fine shops and stately business premises that they really abutted on the other side upon that faded and stagnant square which we had just quitted. "Let me see," said Holmes, standing at the corner and glancing along the line. "I should like to remember the order of these houses here. It is a hobby of mine to have an exact knowledge of London. There is Mortimer's, the tobacconist, the little newspaper shop, the Coburg branch of the City and Suburban Bank, the vegetarian restaurant, and McFarlane's carriage building depot. That carries us right on to the other block, and now, Doctor, we've done our work, so it's time we had some play. A sandwich and a cup of coffee, and then off to Violin Land, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony, and there are no real red-headed clients to vex us with their conundrums." My friend was an enthusiastic musician, being himself not only a very capable performer, but a composer of no ordinary merit. All the afternoon he sat in the stalls wrapped in the most perfect happiness, gently waving his long thin fingers in time with the music, while his gently smiling face and his languid dreamy eyes were as unlike those of Holmes the sleuth-hound, Holmes the relentless, keen-witted, ready-handed criminal agent as it was possible to conceive. In his singular character, the dual nature alternately asserted itself, and his extreme exactness and astuteness represented, as I have often thought, the reaction against the poetic and contemplative mood which occasionally predominated in him. The swing in his nature took him from extreme languor to devouring energy, and as I knew well, he was never truly formidable, as when, for on day's end, he had been longing in his armchair amid his improvisations and his black-letter editions. Then it was that the lust of the chase would suddenly come upon him, and that his brilliant reasoning power would rise to the level of intuition until those who are unacquainted with his methods would look askance at him as on a man whose knowledge was not that of other mortals. When I saw him that afternoon so enwrapped in the music at St. James Hall, I felt that an evil time might be coming upon those whom he had set himself to hunt down. "You want to go home, no doubt, Doctor," he remarked as we emerged. "Yes, it would be as well." "And I have some business to do, which will take some hours. This business at Coburg Square is serious." "Why serious?" "A considerable crime is in contemplation. I have every reason to believe that we shall be in time to stop it, but today being Saturday rather complicates matters. I shall want your help tonight." "At what time?" 10 will be early enough. I shall be at Baker Street at 10. "Very well. And I say, Doctor, there may be some little danger, so kindly put your army revolver in your pocket." He waved his hand, turned on his heel, and disappeared in an instant among the crowd. I trust that I am not more dense than my neighbors, but I was always oppressed with a sense of my own stupidity in the dealings with Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Here I had heard what he had heard, I had seen what he had seen, and yet from his words it was evident that he saw clearly not only what had happened, but what was about to happen, while to me the whole business still confused and grotesque. As I drove home to my house in Kensington, I thought over it all, from the extraordinary story of the red-headed copier from the encyclopedia down to the visit to Saxe Coburg Square and the ominous words which he had parted with me. What was this nocturnal expedition, and why should I go armed? Where were we going, and what were we to do? I had the hint from Holmes that this smooth-faced pawnbroker's assistant was a formidable man, a man who might play a deep game. I tried to puzzle it out, but gave it up in despair, and set the matter aside until night should bring an explanation. It was 9:15 when I started from home and made my way across the park, and so through Oxford Street to Baker Street. 2 hansoms were standing at the door, and as I entered the passage, I heard the sound of voices from above. On entering his room, I found Holmes in animated conversation with 2 men, one of whom I recognized as Peter Jones, the official police agent, while the other was a long, thin, sad-faced man with a very shiny hat and oppressively respectable frock coat. "Ha! Our party is complete," said Holmes, buttoning up his pea jacket and taking his heavy hunting crop from the rack. "Watson, I think you know Mr. Jones of Scotland Yard. Let me introduce you to Mr. Merriweather, who is to be our companion in tonight's adventure." "We are hunting in couples again, Doctor, you see," said Jones in his consequential way. "Our friend here is a wonderful man for starting a chase. All he wants is an old dog to help him do the running around." "I hope a wild goose chase may not prove to be the end of our chase," observed Mr. Merriweather gloomily. "You may place considerable confidence in Mr. Holmes, sir," said the police agent loftily. "He has his own little methods, which are, if he won't mind my saying so, just a little too theoretical and fantastic, but he has the makings of a detective in him. It is not too much to say that once or twice, as in that business of the Sholto murder and the Agra treasure, he has been more nearly correct than the official force." "Oh, if you say so, Mr. Jones, it is all right," said this stranger with deference. "Still, I confess that I miss my rubber. It is the first Saturday night in 27 years that I have not had my rubber." "I think you find," said Sherlock Holmes, "that you will play for a higher stake tonight than you ever have done, and that
The play will be more exciting for you, Mr. Merriweather. The stake will be some 30,000 pounds, and for you, Jones, it will be the man upon whom you wish to lay your hands. John Clay, the murderer, thief, smasher, and forger. He's a young man, Mr. Merriweather, but he is at the head of his profession, and I would rather have my bracelets on him than on any criminal in London. He's a remarkable man, this young John Clay. His grandfather was a royal duke, and he himself has been to Eton and Oxford. His brain is as cunning as his fingers, and though we meet signs of him at every turn, we never know where to find the man himself. He'll crack a rib in Scotland one week and be raising money to build an orphanage in Cornwall the next. I've been on his track for years and never set eyes on him yet. I hope that I may have the pleasure of introducing you tonight. I've had one or two little turns also with Mr. John Clay, and I assure you that he is at the head of his profession. It is past 10, however, and quite time we started. If you two will take the hansom, Watson and I will follow with the second. Sherlock Holmes was not very communicative during the long drive and lay back in the cab humming the tunes which he had heard in the afternoon. We rattled through an endless labyrinth of gaslit streets until we emerged into Farrington Street. "We are close there now, friend," my friend remarked. "This fellow Merriweather is a bank director and personally interested in the matter. I thought it as well to have Jones with us also. He is not a bad fellow, though an absolute imbecile in his profession. He has one positive virtue. He is as brave as a bulldog and as tenacious as a lobster if he gets his claws upon someone. Here we are, and they are waiting for us." We had reached the same crowded thoroughfare in which we had found ourselves in the morning. Our cabs were dismissed, and, following the guidance of Mr. Merriweather, we passed down a narrow passage and through the side door, which he opened for us. Within there was a small corridor which ended in a very massive iron gate. This was also opened, and led down a flight of winding stone steps, which terminated at another formidable gate. Mr. Merriweather stopped to light a lantern, and then conducted us down a dark, earth-smelling passage, and so, after opening a third door, into a huge vault or cellar, which was piled all round with crates and massive boxes. "You are not very vulnerable from above," Holmes remarked as he held up the lantern and gazed about him. "Nor from below," said Mr. Merriweather, striking his stick upon the flags which lined the floor. "Dear me, it sounds quite hollow," he remarked, looking up in surprise. "I must really ask you to be more quiet," said Holmes severely. "You have already imperiled the whole success of our expedition. Might I beg that you would have the goodness to sit down upon one of those boxes and not interfere?" The solemn Mr. Merriweather perched himself upon a crate with a very injured expression upon his face, while Holmes fell upon his knees upon the floor, and with the lantern and magnifying glass began to examine minutely the cracks between the stones. A few seconds sufficed to satisfy him, for he sprang to his feet again, put his glass in his pocket. "We have at least an hour before us," he remarked, "for they can hardly take any steps until the good pawnbroker is safely in bed. Then they will not lose a minute, for the sooner they do their work, the longer time they will have for their escape. We are at present, Doctor, as no doubt you have divined, in the cellar of the city branch of one of the principal London banks. Mr. Merriweather is the chairman of directors. He will explain to you that there are reasons why the more daring criminals of London should take a considerable interest in this cellar at present." "It is our French gold," whispered the director. "We have had several warnings that an attempt had been made upon it." "Your French gold?" "Yes. We had occasion some months ago to strengthen our resources and borrowed for that purpose 30,000 Napoleons from the Bank of France. It has become known that we have never had occasion to unpack the money and that it is still lying in our cellar. The crate upon which I sit contains 20,000 Napoleons packed between layers of lead foil.
Our reserve of bullion is much larger at present than is usually kept in a single branch office, and the directors have had misgivings upon the subject. Which were very well justified, observed Holmes. And now it is time that we arrange our little plans. I expect that within an hour matters will come to a head. It is in the meantime, Mr. Merriweather, we must put the screen over that dark lantern. And sit in the dark? I'm afraid so. I had brought a pack of cards in my pocket, and I thought that as we were partie carrier, you might have your rubber after all. But I see that the enemy's preparations have gone so far that we cannot risk the presence of light, and first of all, we must choose our positions. These are daring men, and though we shall take them at this disadvantage, they may do us some harm unless we are careful. I shall stand behind this crate, and do you conceal yourselves behind those. Then, when I flash a light upon them, close in swiftly. If they fire, Watson, I have no compunction about shooting them down. I place my revolver, cocked, upon the top of the wooden case behind which I crouched. Holmes shot the slide across the front of his lantern, and left us in pitch darkness. Such an absolute darkness as I have never before experienced. The smell of hot metal remained to assure us that the light was still there, ready to flash out at the moment's notice. To me, with my nerves worked up to a pitch of expectancy, there was something depressing and subduing in the sudden gloom and the cold, dank air of the vault. They have but one retreat, whispered Holmes. That is the back through the house into Saxe-Coburg Square. I hope that you have done what I have asked you, Jones. I have an inspector and 2 officers waiting at the front door. Then we have stopped all the holes. Now we must be silent and wait. What a time it seemed. From comparing notes afterwards, it was but an hour and a quarter. Yet it appeared to me that the night must have almost gone and the dawn breaking above us. My limbs were weary and stiff, for I feared to change my position, yet my nerves were worked up to the highest pitch of tension. And my hearing was so acute that I could not only hear the gentle breathing of my companions, but I could distinguish from the deeper, heavier in-breath of the bulky Jones from the thin, sighing note of the bank director. From my position I could look over the case in the direction of the floor. Suddenly my eyes caught a glint of light. At first it was but a lurid spark upon the stone pavement. Then it lengthened out until it became a yellow line, and then, without any warning or sound, a gash seemed to open and a hand appeared, a white, almost womanly hand, which felt about in the center of the light area. Which felt about in the center of the little area of light. For a minute or more, the hand with its writhing fingers protruded out of the floor. Then it was withdrawn as suddenly as it appeared, and all was dark again save the single lurid spark which marked a chink between the stones. Its disappearance, however, was but momentary. With a rending, tearing sound, one of the broad white stones turned over its side and left a square, gaping hole, through which streamed the light of a lantern. Over the edge there peeped a clean-cut boyish face, which looked keenly about it, and then with a hand on either side of the aperture, drew itself shoulder-high and waist-high until one knee rested upon the edge. In another instant, he stood at the side of the hole and was hauling after him a companion, lithe and small himself, with a pale face and a shock of very red hair. "It's all clear," he whispered. "Have you the chisel and the bags? Great Scott! Jump, Archie, jump, and I'll swing for it." Sherlock Holmes had sprung out and seized the intruder by the collar. The other dived down the hole, and I heard the sound of rending cloth as Jones clutched at his skirts. The light flashed upon the barrel of a revolver, but Holmes' hunting crop came down on the man's wrist, and the pistol clinked upon the floor. "It's no use, John Clay," said Holmes blandly.
You have no chance at all." "So I see," the other answered with the utmost coolness. "I fancy that my pal is all right, though. I see you have got his coattails." "There are 3 men waiting for him at the door," said Holmes. "Oh, indeed. You seem to have done the thing very completely. I must compliment you." "And I you," Holmes answered. "Your red-headed idea is very new and effective." "You'll see your pal again presently," said Jones. "He's quicker at climbing down holes than I am. Just hold out while I fix the derbies." "I beg that you will not touch me with your filthy hands," remarked our prisoner as the handcuffs clattered upon his wrists. "You may not be aware that I have royal blood in my veins. Have the goodness also when you address me always say please, sir, and please." "All right," said Jones with a stare and a snigger. "Well, would you please, sir, march upstairs, where we can get a cab to carry your highness to the police station?" "That is better," said John Clay serenely. He made a swooping bow to the 3 of us and walked off quietly in the custody of the detective. "Really, Holmes?" said Merriweather, as we followed them from the cellar. "I do not know how the bank can thank you or repay you. There is no doubt that you have detected and defeated in the most complete manner one of the most determined attempts at bank robbery that ever come within my experience. I have had 1 or 2 little scores of my own to settle with Mr. John Clay," said Holmes. "I have been at some small expense over this matter, which I shall expect the bank to refund, but beyond that I am amply repaid by having an experience which is in many ways unique, by hearing the very remarkable narrative of the Red-Headed League. You see, Watson," he explained in the early hours of the morning as we sat over a glass of whiskey and soda in Baker Street, "it is perfectly obvious from the start that the only possible object to this rather fantastic business of the advertisement of the League and the copying of the encyclopedia must be to get this not over-bright pawnbroker out of the way for a number of hours every day. It was a curious way of managing it, but really it would be difficult to suggest better. The method was no doubt suggested to Clay's ingenious mind by the color of his accomplice's hair. The £4 a week was a lure which must draw him, and what was it to them who were playing for thousands? They put in the advertisement, one rogue has a temporary office, the other rogue incites the man to apply for it, and together they managed to secure his absence every morning in the week. From the time that I heard of the assistant having come for half wages, it was obvious to me that he had some strong motive for securing the situation." "But how could you guess what motive was?" "Had there been women in the house, I should have suspected a mere vulgar intrigue. That, however, was out of the question. The man's business was a small one. There was nothing in his house which could account for such elaborate preparations and such an expenditure as were at. It must, then, be something out of the house. What could it be? I thought of the assistant's fondness for photography and his trick of vanishing into the cellar. The cellar! There was an end of this tangled clue. Then I made inquiries as to this mysterious assistant and found that I had to deal with one of the coolest and most daring criminals in London. He was doing something in the cellar, something which took many hours a day for months on end. What could it be once more? I could think of nothing save he was running a tunnel to some other building. So far I had got when we went to visit the scene of action. I surprised you by beating upon the pavement with my stick. I was ascertaining whether the cellar stretched out in front or behind. It was not in front. Then I rang the bell, and as I hoped, the assistant answered it. We have some skirmishes, but we had never set eyes upon each other before. I hardly looked at his face. His knees were what I wished to see. You must yourself have remarked how worn, wrinkled, and stained they were. They spoke of these hours of burrowing. The only remaining point was that they were what they were burrowing for. I walked around the corner, saw the City and Suburban Bank abutted on our friend's premises, felt that I had solved my problem. When you drove home after the concert, I called upon Scotland Yard and upon the chair bank of the bank directors with a result that you have seen. And how could you tell that they would make their attempt tonight? I asked. Well, when they closed their league offices was a sign that they cared no longer about Mr. Jabez Wilson's presence. In other words, that they had completed their tunnel. But it was essential that they should use it soon, as it might be discovered, or the bullion would be removed. Saturday would suit them better than any other day, as it would give them 2 days for their escape. For all these reasons, I expected them to come tonight. You reasoned it out beautifully, I exclaimed in feigned admiration. It is so long a chain, and yet every link rings true. It saved me from ennui, he answered, yawning. Alas, I already feel it closing in upon me. My life is spent in one long effort to escape from the commonplaces of existence. These little problems help me so. And you are a benefactor of the race, said I. He shrugged his shoulders. Well, perhaps. After all, it is of some little use, he remarked. L'homme, c'est rien leur, c'est tout, as Gustave Flaubert wrote to George Sand. I didn't even try to French out that last part, and I'm not even going to apologize. That is the end of Chapter 2 of Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Whew. I need to breathe for a little bit. That was a lot of reading. Hi, Chaos. No need to apologize. Also, welcome to our many TikTok viewers. Quite a few of you were asking what I was reading. We have been reading Sherlock Holmes. And I've also had some questions pop up about, let's see, which food do you eat? I don't quite know what that is exactly asking. Excuse me. I don't know exactly what that is asking. However, did I eat dinner? No, I did not. Will I probably have chicken nuggets? Well, boneless chicken wings for dinner? Yes. Is that the answer to your question? I have no idea. Hi, Anakin. We also had a question from Harukin. Oh, it's okay, Chuito. I just appreciate that you're here vibing with us. We also had a question from Harukin about where did the dress go on Throne? Well, I wanted to replace that dress with, like, the cost of that dress is $90, and I was like, that's really expensive for this dress. I don't know that I'm comfortable keeping that on Throne, and I considered maybe I could find a different dress to put on Throne, but unfortunately, I have not been able to find a dress that is worth taking its spot. So I hate how expensive that dress is,
on Throne. But I also can't find another thing like it. I'm not gonna lie, Amazon has become like a really ineffective place for me to find anything recently. 90 for the dress is reasonable, you think?
Oh my god.
You think so? For something that I would just wear for Brand Army? I know that we still have another 40 minutes left of stream, but I don't think I'm going to start the next chapter of Sherlock Holmes. However, I think that maybe it'll be a little too weird if I am not reading, because so many people have been sitting here listening to me read, that maybe I should continue reading. But possibly at a slower pace, and we won't be able to finish it. Well, if you're saying that I should add the dress back to the Throne wish list, I don't think that I can say no to that. So I will have to find it on Throne again, and I will add it back to the wish list. Hi, David. Oh, found it. I think that it's... personally, I also think that it's bullshit that the listing for the dress says that it's $44, but it's only $44 if you get the small size. If you get anything bigger than a small size, then the price goes from $44 to $90. That's what I think is questionable. Hi, Arthur. Are you gothic? I'd like to be. 'Cause I can literally just go straight to their website and pull up the dress. Okay, well, I am proven wrong. I am on the website of the company, so I can't even blame Throne. The website of the company selling the dress says that the small is normally $70, but it's currently on sale for $44. But if you want to get a medium, a large, or an extra large, it's $90.99. I personally also would want this dress without the sleeves. Like, the sleeves don't look like they're part of the dress. I'm just like, I don't know, man. So I might just order directly from the company. But if you guys have other dresses that you see that are like gothic and you would totally want to see me wear, you can also suggest them to the Throne. I just feel like $90. I like your voice. Imiku, thank you so much. Price inflation? I don't know, man. Like, I'll be spinning in my chair for that dress? Really? They're smoking that pipe? I just really don't agree with the price of that dress. It is a big jump. I didn't do any breathing during that reading. Yes, that definitely doesn't smell like a boatload of BS. You could probably do siren singing for the rest of the stream. I could. Gem, thank you so much for the hydrate. Last time I bought a dress was 600. Jeez. Oh, why is she leaning forward? Why is she leaning forward? Here, I'm gonna fix that. She's not supposed to be leaning forward so much. Gotta lean back. Lean back. Lean back. What flavor are the electrolytes? Hi, Thumber. The electrolytes right now are they are raspberry. I had to double check. Let's see, do I want to do chest, spine? We'll do spine. Wee. See you guys later. A Gucci dress?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. Let me try and see what else I can find for throne. So I can add that dress back. But I can also add other dresses as well. I believe everyone who... Oh, hi, Hayashi. Welcome. I believe anyone can look at the gift store on Throne. And you can search anything, you can add anything, you can suggest stuff to add to the Throne wishlist. Albeit for some reason, Throne is showing me like $1,000 dresses. We're not doing that. We're not doing that right now. Hey, I guess if you guys want to see me do a Wednesday Addams cosplay, I guess there's a Wednesday dress. And this would be for, primarily for Brand Army. If you guys want to see what I look like IRL, if you want to know, it saw you looking at $2,000 massage chair and thought, she bougie? It's Thursday? What did I say? Did I say that what day is it? I don't know. I just work here. We could add a private fishy butler. That was my fault. Luckily, Throne doesn't actually have any kind of algorithm, I don't think. Oh my god, Imiku, I totally didn't register that. I tell you, streamer brain is a thing.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Hi, welcome to Chili's. Oh god, it's my face. Ooh, that's a very pretty dress. Actually, no, that's not. My boobs would not be able to stay in that dress. Why would you pay $250 for so much boob to be falling out? That doesn't seem comfortable. Why are so many... Okay, that one's pretty. But why is this $182? Hi, Carlos. I have yet to watch Wednesday. I have yet to watch the first season of Wednesday, and I probably won't. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I probably won't. But anyway, I was trying to look at Amazon for clothes to add to my Throne wish list, but I can't seem to find any that look quality especially from Amazon. And I don't know, things that would really just want to be shared with on Brand Army. So like, I don't know, man, if Brand Army just wants me to wear gothic dresses, all right. This is fine. You look beautiful, thank you. Sounds like it's for bougie 1940s women who are selectively bred for small bust. Indeed. Indeed. Oh, to live in a time where clothes are suited for you. I don't think I have any clothes that are like personally tailored to me. But that would certainly be interesting. What kind of clothes would Brand Army want to see me in? Aside from, you know, none. That's not an option. Normalized tailors? Yes. Man, you really do. Thank you, Brand Army. What? I'm a small size 0, so I could totally wear that. Cries and not size 0. Loyalita, gothic, black lace with ruffles. Oh, that is pretty. That is very pretty. would I ever wear this outside of my house? No, not at all. Is this still very pretty? Yes. You want to know what else is pretty? The sunset. You? Yes, you are, City. The ocean waves? Mm-hmm, that too. Steph is pretty? I don't know what you're talking about. You couldn't possibly be talking to me. You couldn't possibly be talking about me. Nah. Yeah, I'm not sure what to put on Brand Army. I never really am, because it's so rare. Yeah, pretty much, Imiku. Pretty much. Copium. It's pretty rare to get much interaction, suggestions, anything on Throne. So nothing really happens there. I never know what to add because I don't think anyone looks at it. I don't think anyone, is interested in getting anything from it. I've put, things that I need or, things that are functional on Throne before. I've put things that are totally not functional and not needed. And still there was no change. So at this point, I really don't know what to put on Throne that people would actually be willing to look at or support me. I don't want people to feel like they have to. So I'm just all kinds of confused at this point. And I'm just here for the vibes. The part that I love you. I love you too, Chaos. The part that honestly if anyone wants to support me in any way, it's just show up to stream. Show up to stream and hang out with me for however long I'm live. That's it. That's the vibes, Buy a massage chair. I don't think anyone is gonna do that. That's why I put up there, the getting the massage membership. I'll go get a massage once a month, but only when you guys tell me I can. Pretty much. I don't know. You guys say that you want me to, if I even asked the Brand Army folks. There is a non-zero chance. Never doubt. I don't know, man. I choose to be humble about it. I don't expect anyone to do anything. I'm just here. I'm gonna be here whether someone gifts something or not. I would just rather have you cutie patooties show up and hang out with me on stream. And that's good enough. That's good enough to make me happy. Hi, moje dongom. I do like the background music. Well, I say music, the background ambiance. We've had a lot of people support in the past year, and it hasn't always been thrown, and it hasn't always been donations, and sometimes it's rating, sometimes it's talking in the Discord server. Like, it just means a lot to me to have you guys. Whenever you can be here, now with our Brand Army audience, I have asked the Brand Army audience what they would be interested in seeing, and I got no responses. Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. And I upload photos of my outfits. I post selfies. I post cat photos. I'm just here for a good time. If someone wants to see me in a specific dress, what is your Discord? Suito, if you'd like to join the Discord, the link for the Discord server is in the profile link. So beacons.ai/StephTsu. There is the Discord link in the socials section. I missed the Discord hangout homies role. Would have been there earlier. Oh, it's okay. But now you know. Also, I mentioned this earlier when we were in the hangout. The cookie IRS is here. Time to pay the cookie tax. Does that mean that I get a cookie? But just to remind you, if you would like to hang out with any of the fishies, you can ask a moderator to ping the Hangout Homies role or the moviegoers role. So I don't necessarily need to be there. It's a community of people. A community of people are allowed to hang out with the community. No, just the way the computer say that. What do you mean? You do matter to us. We does care about you. We is proud of you. Always being strong, always persevering, always being here, always being yourself. Thank you. I don't think I can be someone that isn't me. I mean, Am I good at acting? I am biased, but I would say better than most. At times with night call group chat is pretty fun. Is the computer system Steph? Huh? Are you smelling toast? Are you having a stroke? I don't know what you're asking. You are allowed to talk like that, Chaos. I was looking at the Rolls channel. The Hangout Homies and the Moviegoers. It's been a long time since we've had a movie night, but I promise you, I work on a lot of stream stuff behind the scenes. I don't watch very many movies that I'm not already familiar with. I voted Steph best small VTuber and comfy streamer. Thank you. Thank you, Pro Self Love. Thank you for voting for me. Oh, Chuito, the way the computer system that it says cookies stuff. I like cookies. The food cookies. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Oh. I mean, I know that there's plenty of interesting clothing options out there that chat would like to see me in. Get some chicken nuggies? I would like to. So that split dress that you were talking about, Harukin, there's gotta be a better price for that kind of dress somewhere, you know? It doesn't even have to be gothic. You're gonna eat dinner and I'm starving for fishy food? You can have fishy food. You will be fed. Okay, so like, here's one. It's TikTok shop, eBay. Okay, clearly. Are we underwater? Yes, we are. And you are a fishy. Don't eat us. You are not allowed to eat each other. There is no fish cannibalism allowed. I have a joke for you. You have my attention. How cool would it be though if we did have like a StephCon or something and I show up in like a dress like this, you know? Is fishy always what you called your chat or community? Yes. I think chat has been fishies since day one. I passed out the first hour of stream and it was bliss. Good. It sounds like you needed the rest. Here, Haruken, I'll put in, I don't know, where do I put this? In the general media chat in the Discord server, a photo of this dress. What is this? This is a good time. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Who are you? Once a fishy, always a fishy. StephCon 2025? Not in 2025. There's also this dress that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I don't know that I would, you know, wear it anywhere. I'm having a whale of a time, as you should be. I still need to do quite a few things. Which dress, one of your favorite? Let's see. There's a brand that I unfortunately have not gotten many of their products because they are rather expensive. And unfortunately, I only have experience purchasing one of their dresses. They look like such great quality, but hi, Drax. Welcome. Draxmas? Is that how to say your name? I forgot what I was saying.
Both.
Both?
Both.
Both.
Both is good.
Both. How much skin would you like me to show? And what kind of dress for your portrait? I like modesty. I like having the chest and, you know, buttocks area covered. You can call me Drak. Well, it is lovely to meet you, Drak. Welcome. Welcome to YouTube chat. No? Twitch chat. Close enough, sorry. Streamer brain. Welcome to Twitch chat. Thank you for joining us. Let me see. There's quite a lot of dresses. If you guys ever wonder, let me see if I can pull one up. Google. Okay. JJ's house. This website has some great quality dresses. Again, I'm adding this to the general media chat of the Discord server. If you'd like to join the Discord server, the link is going to be in my beacons link. And that link is going to be in the profile or bio of whatever you're looking, like whatever website you're on. Do you know how a tree gets on the internet? No. Side note, if we do find out that anyone is soliciting and sending people solicitous messages unprompted in the Discord server, you will get banned. We have had to ban some people. They log in. Oh my god. How did I miss that? I feel like I should have known that, and yet I missed the opportunity. For shame. For shame. If anyone thinks that it's appropriate to send messages to other people in chat without first asking permission, you can also get in trouble for that. Because that could be very rude. But primarily, what about DC, or you mean Discord? If someone is soliciting their services unwarranted, it is called unsolicited solicitation, and they will get banned. So if somebody comes in and says, "Hi, I am a graphic designer. You look like you need graphic designing," they get banned. Let me rephrase that. If they send an unwarranted message without permission, that is unsolicited solicitation. It's not okay. I personally am always of the mindset that I respectfully will will ask someone in the Discord if I can message them privately. Most of the time, I will not message someone privately unless they are expecting it. I don't expect people in my Discord server to adhere to that. Too many smart words. Yeah. I don't expect other people to necessarily adhere to that. However, I'm just saying that this is my personal methods. My DMs are always open. See? Some individuals are open to messages. I am not, because I have unfortunately had some quite unfavorable experiences with unprompted messages. I need to drink more water. Oh my goodness. I think I heard my washing machine downstairs. The washing machine might be done. Can I message you fish? I actually don't know if my DMs... Hi, Denzikin. I don't know if my DMs are actually open right now. Discord settings are the meme. Probably. Sometimes people message me funny things. They'll just send me random things, and I think that it's funny. Okay, I have watered. Head pats, hugs, pizzas, cheeseburgers, fries, flutus, cookies, sodas, chicken, and dino nuggies for you and everyone in both chats. Both chats or all of the chats? Because we are currently live on... Do you have a pet? I have a cat named Jake. We are live on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube Live, and YouTube Shorts. And normally we would do Kick, but I've had a lot of negative experiences with Kick viewers just being unpleasant. And I would normally throw Instagram into the mix as well. However, Instagram will only show your live stream to people who follow you. So if you haven't followed my new Instagram account, check that out. Because unfortunately, I did have to get a new Instagram account. But I put in the Discord server a link to a website called JJ's House, I believe. They have some very nice quality dresses. I think Lulu's dresses, I've also had good experience with. I'm only for some reason, don't ask me why. You have new angles, yes. Oh, Denji-kun, not that kick. Thank God. Hope you guys enjoy. I will enjoy all of those foods. Anything, do you want like your whole leg exposed or your whole arms? Those are okay, Chaos. It could even be like a t-shirt and shorts. That would be okay. Hi, Rockor. How are you? It's good to see you. Have you been well? Have you been behaving? Not causing chaos? Do you like animes? I'm currently in the midst of rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've had a headache since 2 days. This sounds very not desirable. I'm sorry. Maybe it goes away when you say something specific to me. You want me to call you a good boy? You are silly. Never forget October 3rd, never forget. Who's a good boy, Rockor? You're a good boy. You're a good boy, Rockor. Yes, it is you. Do you guys recall last night on stream where I wasn't feeling very well? By the end of the stream, I was feeling quite woozy. It turns out that I had really bad migraine. Hunger. Can I be your good boy? You can be a good boy. You just have to prove to me that you are a good boy. Denji-kun, thank you so much for the heart. And Alex, thank you for the rose. Thank you for flustering me. I'll do it again. So I also added to the Discord a link to another website called Lulu's. Now, Lulu's dresses I really like because there's a wider variety of choices. You can fluster me as much as you want. I would love to wrap you in a blanket and you would get so cozy you'd fall asleep. I'm not a good boy, I'm a great man, JK kinda. You can be both. a good boy is a good man. Or they ought to be. You cannot be a great man if you are not at some point and or at some times a good boy. Can you please do that? Yes, absolutely. The model physics are good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do try to put a lot of effort into the quality of the stream. I love dresses for someone who doesn't wear dresses very often. However, when I wear dresses, I try to take photos, selfies that I can share on Brand Army. So if anyone's interested in seeing what I look like IRL, sleep. Hi. Hello. Welcome. I love your name. I'm sure you get that a lot. How long have you been a content creator for? 4.5 years. Actually, that's a lie. I have been affiliated on Twitch for 4.5 years. I have been creating content for coming up on 12 years. I've been making YouTube content since December 2013. However, I've been consistently streaming on Twitch since, well, December of 2021. So we are coming up soon on 5 years. Mother, I'm so sleepy. It sounds like it's time for you to go to bed. Chaos, yes, you are allowed to do that. The grind is real. You deserve so much more attention. Well, thank you. I don't know what I deserve and what I don't deserve, but thank you for the kisses, Chaos. I called you beautiful. Yes, you did, Rockcore. And it makes me feel very beautiful. I don't know if I deserve more recognition for the grind or not, but I'm here nonetheless, you know? I hope that you guys can help me. I appreciate when you can be here, when you can share my social media posts. I want to say that in the next year, there's going to be a lot of great things. There's going to be things that I can't tell you about, but I want you to know that I would really, 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 really appreciate your support as we grow in the next year. They are a very intimate thing, even virtual ones. Oh, I don't blame you at all for asking. I am absolutely okay with it. That's part of the reason why I have the redeem available, is because, Alex, thank you for the heart. I love you too, Rockcore. It is strange for, a streamer to make their entire brand and personality based on reading. But
Ah, that's hot. That's hot.
hi, Chris. Can I be your good boy, Steph? Sweeto, you already are a good boy. You haven't gotten on my bad side yet. But, I hope that you guys will join me along on the ride for the next year. It is strange for someone like me to make their entire brand centered on reading or telling stories or really their voice. But, I have some super exciting stuff coming up in the next couple of months even. That it would really mean a lot to me if you guys stayed along for the ride. We are over our 2-hour time, and I need to eat dinner before I get sick because I'm so hungry. So I do unfortunately need to go. A reminder again, if you'd like to suggest any gifts to add to the throne wish list, you can do that. The Twitch panel will give you the link. I will not be live tomorrow, but I will be back on Saturday. I will be reading some Frankenstein. So that'll be a little different than Sherlock Holmes. But I hope you will enjoy it nonetheless. We will be raiding out. So if you haven't already, copy the raid message. Papa Yeah Dog, thank you for being here. What chapter? We will be starting Frankenstein from the very beginning. I will eat my chicken bites, don't worry about me. Who's gonna get me all flustered? Well, you could also clip that one moment. the moment of stream where I call you a good boy and then just play it on repeat. Whoever needs this, I hope accomplishes their dreams. Oh, good. Okay. What do you think I'm doing? I don't know, sitting there being cute? What else do you normally do? Well, I'll stop being all cheesy and all that. This is the part where we say our good nights, our goodbyes, and our see you tomorrows. I have to fix this stupid screen. Why do I have to fix this stupid screen every time? Okay, I fixed it again. Alright. This is the part where we say our goodnights, our goodbyes, and our see you tomorrows. I will be back on Saturday to read to you some Frankenstein. If you have not already joined the Discord server and you are not watching on Twitch, please take a look at the profile and check out the link in the description wherever you are. And click the button that says Discord. Join the Discord. You must accept the rules and roles when you join the Discord server. If you would like a hangout or a movie role, those roles will also be available in the Rules and Roles channel. Please copy the raid message and start spamming it in chat, you beautiful souls. You love Frankenstein? Good. What else do I say? I forget what I'm doing. We are going to be raiding into Nightwolf. They are doing some ASMR, so please represent this community well. If you are not watching on Twitch, the stream is just going to end for you. If you are watching on Twitch, we are going to raid. Who are we raiding? I'm on mobile, can't see it. We haven't started the raid yet, pro self-love. If you join the Discord server, you will get notified whenever I go live or whenever I post a YouTube video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers, which is our next goal. And until I see you again on Saturday, please drink your water, eat your food, touch some grass, get some exercise, be kind to yourself and others, and have a good night.